What's going on, YouTube? So this morning I'm just walking down the old dirt road here back to the trail. I remember my very first vehicle was a 1979 Chevy Luv pickup. My second vehicle was a 1975 Chevy Luv pickup, and my third vehicle was a 1978 Chevy Luv pickup. So you kind of remember. And this was back in 1996, I guess, is whenever I bought that pickup. I paid $800 for it. Very first vehicle. Paid $800, $450 for the second one. It ran from West Tulsa back to my dad's house and blew up in the front yard. But the third one I had, and they didn't have air conditioning. They had like a little 4-cylinder motor in them. And man, in Oklahoma, you know, the turnpike speeds were, well, now they're 85, but they were 75, and you were tacking that sucker out at about 6,500 RPM whenever you were driving it down the road. But it kind of brings back the story of my dad whenever he brought that thing to me. You know, I was 16, couldn't wait to get my first vehicle, and Dad went out and picked up this Chevy Luv pickup. Drove it home. It was yellow, and I wasn't very impressed. I was like, oh shit, I gotta drive that thing down the road. But Dad didn't really hold much back, you know, whenever he brought it, and he was like, and he could tell that I was upset, but he didn't say, oh, I'm sorry, or anything like that. He was an old Navy guy. I don't know what the hell's out here in the woods, but I don't have my Glock with me, so just checking for coyotes and stuff. Oh, that's a squirrel. I'm good. But yeah, he was pretty straightforward. If you don't want it, I'll bring it back. And I was like, damn, Dad, just calm down. And later on, he decided to tell me, he said, the reason why I bought you that, because you're going to learn how to work on the vehicle. And damn, I think I replaced 7 or 8 starters, 10 alternators, brake calipers. I was trying to drive it, look cool, but for the most part, I was half driving it and half working on it. So it taught me a lot about mechanics. Sure comes in handy as I got older. Even on the newer cars, there's still a lot of stuff that I can do on them, but there's some stuff that I can't. But that goes back to, I'm not going to walk too far down here. I don't know, yeah, maybe I'll walk to the edge of the edge down here. Anyway, my dad was a old Seabee from the Navy. So he was pretty rough around the edges, and he drove a semi-truck for like 45 years, and I started driving a semi-truck with him. But the main thing is that I learned a lot of stuff about mechanics. I don't know if I can share some of that information. You know, I might be able to help somebody out there. There's a lot of people out there that are talking about cars and stuff that probably, but you know, one of the reasons why you watch this channel is to maybe learn something new from a different perspective, and maybe I can bring that to you, and maybe I can't. Ain't no promises. Man, it is beautiful out here. Every time I walk out here, look at that. Oh, we had the sunset over there the other day, but now we got the sunrise coming up right behind me there. I like it. I like fall time. No coyotes. Maybe a few squirrels or something like that out here. Last time I was on the lawnmower, so we'll call this walking the trails. So anyway, that 1978 Chevy Luv, no, it was a 79. So I gave $800 for the first one, $450 for the second one, and I think 800. And I mowed lawns and sacked groceries at an Albertsons. I got to work at Bell's Amusement Park, and I worked at laser tag. That was my first job. And that's where I met the first wife. Damn, I was only like 17 or 18 years old. But I started working the day I turned 16. Got my driver's license the day I turned 16. And actually I was working I was unloading trailers, 53-foot trailers at 11 years old, you know, unloading toilet paper and stuff, different docks and warehouses, and I got paid $1 a foot. So 53-foot trailer, I unloaded that whole damn thing, got paid $53. And that's kind of where I got my work ethic from. And then you get to unloading that baby food and green beans and having to palletize all that stuff. Let me stick on the subject, because what I'm talking about is those Chevy Luvs. I was constantly working on them. And I didn't know that, you know, I'd get into this tree business, and there was one thing that I did for a long time, for at least a couple of years. Haven't been in the tree business as long as I've been in the trucking industry, but it kind of plays, because there's a lot of stuff about the trucking industry. Just having your CDL, if you need to drive a big piece of equipment, is nice. But I would say I got tired of cutting brush out of the back of my trailer. It's like you load up a big tree, and you know, you got several loads of brush that you're putting in the back, and I don't know what it is, but that brush will sit and ride, and it'll tie itself up into the tightest damn knots, where you got to take your 2511 or your 590 or your steel, and you just about have to cut the damn stuff out of the back of your trailer. So there was a job I did a couple of years ago where I was like, you know, I got to get a chipper. And I kept looking around, and you know, couldn't find a decent chipper for under, well, I guess I could find some for $5,000 or $6,000. Those were the cheapest ones. And then one day on Facebook Marketplace, and I've bought a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace, some stuff good, sometimes it's like a crapshoot. You know, I get it home and I'm like, yeah, I should have just used that as a boat anchor. But a chipper came up, and it was less than 20 miles away from the house. It wasn't an Eager Beaver, it was called an Easy Beaver, and it had an old Wisconsin motor on it. And I remember my dad talking about how Wisconsin motors were really reliable, and you know, those damn things will run no matter what. So I think they had it listed on Marketplace for $4,500. And I just went ahead and called the guy, since he was 20. I said, listen, I've got cash money, but what's the cheapest price you'll take? Right now, let's negotiate this over the phone. I said, what's the cheapest price you'll take? If I show up, if it runs, you got yourself a deal. And the guy said $3,500. I said, I'm on my way. So I drove 20 miles, and I'd been up like all day long, all night long, because when that thing came up, it was just like, boom, I gotta act on this now. So I drove to Inola, Oklahoma, and picked this thing up, and he threw a couple of limbs through it, probably like 2-inch, you know, wasn't very big, and it worked. And I gave him $35 $100 bills, and I picked this old chipper up. And we're gonna walk back up here, and I'm gonna show you this old chipper. And it ran good. So it's been sitting now for a couple of months, and I just got through doing a tree job in Oilton, Oklahoma, and I did it old school because I didn't want to haul my chipper 75 miles on an extra trip, which would have been an extra 150 miles. I said, well, I can just pull, and it was a huge damn pin oak, so I think it wound up taking 10 loads with my trailer, but we got it done. Some of that is on these previous videos here. But here's the cool thing about this chipper is you can take a blower. Now I've got that Echo, I think it's 7910, or am I thinking of the chainsaw? PB 9010. I'll show it to you one of these days. There's a video on that on here too already, but so I'm gonna walk up here. It's kind of hard when you're walking on these trails back here because you're kind of all by yourself, you know, and it's kind of hard to want to go back into society sometimes, like getting lost out in the woods. But I do like to have my Glock on me too, just in case, you know, something pops out. I say that on a regular basis, but I've never had anything pop out on me yet. But I know there's stuff living back here other than me. So I'm going to go up here and show you this chipper. Because it's old. I think it's like 1993 Easy Beaver. But it'll chip up 6-inch logs. Or not 6-inch. Well, I guess you could call it a log. Depends on how long it is. Probably almost 8 inches. But it does bog down a little bit. And I'm running through all kinds of spider webs. Part of being in the country. So Keith Kalfas, I was listening to his station, his YouTube channel. He was talking about making an entire video, and I guess he had some graham cracker or something on his lip, and it kept transferring from lip to lip, and he didn't realize it till he was done. That's some funny stuff. Every once in a while, you might see a little something here. That's probably just because I got false teeth. But I'll show you this old Easy Beaver chipper here. Getting close to it. Hey, so here's a tree that fell down. It fell down during the tornado that we had a few months ago. May 26th, a large tornado came up over, took down a bunch of trees, including this dogwood. Now you want to see something, check this out. So this dogwood split down, and here's the dogwood right here. That's the base of the trunk. But you know, they say don't top trees because they'll sprout, you know, Medusa heads. Well, this trunk was cut off just 2 months ago, and it has sprouted that much out of that dogwood right there. You can see the tree was not really in the best condition anyway. That's probably why the tornado took it down. I'm gonna walk over here and show you these two massive oak trees before we get to the chipper. The chipper's right here. See that chipper? But I do want to show you this over here. This is some pretty big trees that were uprooted. I think it was a F3 tornado that blew through. So how the hell nothing else in the property got moved, I don't know. Just got lucky. Maybe the man upstairs was looking after us or something. Because we had this giant maple, which it got tore up pretty good up there, so it's going to be coming down this winter. And this is just here on the property. Let's see if I can make it back here without running into a timber rattler or something. That could be back here. So this is pretty phenomenal that storms do that type of thing. But as I've been working in this tree business, I see this a lot. And man, there was a bunch of them. So these are two 2 oaks that came down. Massive root balls. Massive root balls. A pretty big size hole. I don't know if you get a perspective of how big that damn root ball is. I mean, it almost, when it came up out of the ground, it's as deep as a grave. You bury yourself in that thing. But it's pretty cool. Live out here on a piece of property that, you know, it's been around forever, but I know the history on it a little bit, all the way back to like 1880, I believe. We'll go on some more trips in the future, but let me finally get you over here to this chipper, because these Wisconsin motors, this thing's a 1993. Like I said, I gave $3,500 for it cash. And that's a good thing. It's always good to have a little cash on hand so that you can make a purchase. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's paid for. And I've made a hell of a lot more with it than $3,500. Are you ready? It's even got a radio flyer wagon. A radio flyer wagon on it that someone put on here. But the cool thing about it is, watch this. I'm gonna set you, yeah. So it's got the old Wisconsin motor, air-cooled, 4 cylinders. Did a little bit of work on the manifold here. It's been sitting out. It was sitting outside when I bought it. The only thing is that if leaves get down in there, I don't know. Has anybody ever had in between their manifold catch on fire with leaves and debris? I have. It scares the shit out of you, I tell you. All right, so we got fuel, and this thing has been sitting for 2 months. It's been sitting for at least 2 months, hasn't been started. But let me show you how reliable these Wisconsin motors are. Check this out. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of choke here, but I'm gonna have to put the camera up toward me just a little bit. But here's the key, and here's the throttle. So make sure that it's sitting stable. It's sitting somewhat stable. So we're gonna turn on the key. Like I said, these old Wisconsin motors. Okay, I don't know how to do this. I gotta kind of have 2 hands here. So, I'm just gonna set you right here. You're gonna be staring up at the sky for just a second. But let me start this thing up, and then I'll grab the phone again. A little bit of choke, and these little Wisconsin motors just fire right up. Give it a little bit of throttle. Warm that bad boy up. I don't know how much work that's in. So with this this whole chipper here, I think I could put almost 12 loads of brush in the back of my trailer versus 1 load of brush. And then I can take my blower and just blow it out the back. It takes about 30 minutes to unload it because I don't have a dump trailer. I got to make do with what I got. But having a chipper, holy crap, saves a lot of work. I just take everything that I make and reinvest it into making the job funner and easier. Like got an old Ford Ranger, but one of the biggest things that I bought this year, and it's cheap. I mean, for a brand new machine, this little Chinese mini excavator right here, between this and that chipper and my winch, those three items just make tree work so much easier. and it's for a fairly reasonable price whenever you're getting started. But I don't think anybody just, and it's paid for, you know. You make the cash, you pay for it, there's no bank. I like not making payments to the bank. I've done everything I could in the last couple years to stop making bank payments. And so that's a little tour of the chipper. This video is 20 minutes long. I'll see y'all later. Hope you enjoyed the video, and there's more to come.